Skateboarding is having a moment, a big mainstream moment. It's in Nordic track commercials, Airbnb ads, the Olympics, and beyond. From goofy watches, to video games, to soft drinks, massive companies have always seen skateboarding as a potential gateway to reach the ever-sought-after youth demographic. Almost always, most brands utilizing skateboarding in their advertising come off as out of touch and embarrassing from the first shot of a skater rocket-ollieing through the air that all of us know is a bail. This got us wondering if any mainstream company could use skating in their advertising while actually understanding the nuances of the culture. We were surprised to find out that there's at least one example of an ad campaign that captured some of the spirit of skating and used it well. So we wanted to find out more about these commercials.
Excuse me? Oh, no. Hold your horses there, McEnroe. You see the sign? Do you see the sign?
What sign?
I've seen you guys playing tennis here before.
Look, we're not from around here.
I'm just trying to do my job. Understand that? I'm trying to help you out.
Run, Ashley, run!
Hey! Hey! Off the fence. Couple of monkeys up there. Game over. The night's done.
Nike's What If campaign launched in 1998 to promote its initial attempt to become a player in the skateboarding industry, with several print ads and 3 commercials. These ads made it all the way to being aired during the Olympics that year, won a prestigious advertising award, and also can be regarded as one of the first times in modern skating that a corporate brand seemed to take the side of skating and framed itself as an ally of the culture, rather than just using the image of skating to sell their product quickly. Successful skate advertising that actually gets skaters to buy products has been and still is almost exclusively produced by other skaters. From skate videos to great ads, we can tell what's genuine and what's not from a mile away. So how did Nike, a corporate juggernaut originating from running that catered to the most mainstream of the mainstream sports, create an ad campaign that kind of hit the mark? Well, it wasn't all by themselves. They got a little help from a clever advertising agency.
So I guess it was in 1998 or so we started working for Nike.
This is Jeff Goodby, a longtime award-winning advertiser and co-founder of the Goodby Silverstein and Partners advertising agency, and the man behind the famous "Got Milk" slogan. Yes, that "Got Milk" slogan.
So we got this skateboarding assignment, and when we did the first research, kids were like, fuck that. I'm not going to wear Nike clothes. Skateboarding, as you know, was and still is really a place for really small brands, like Discovery and so on. And Nike did not represent that. And John Soto and Al Kelly, who were working on the thing, went to some focus groups, and they heard the anger toward Nike. Soto is a really good skateboarder. Soto really understood skateboarding. And he listened to these guys, mostly guys in focus groups. And finally, this issue came up of like athletes. And this is what the key thing was. We get kicked out of places. We're not even acknowledged as athletes like basketball courts are and tennis courts are. They're set up for people to play. We have no place to play. And so John and Al came up with this angle on it, which was, what if you got kicked out of places for playing tennis? What if you got kicked out of places for running, And so we did a series of commercials that showed people getting kicked out like skateboarders.
To their credit, these ads did a great job of presenting skateboarding's side of the argument to normal people that probably hadn't thought about the opposing perspective. For years, skaters had faced the mainstream narrative that viewed them as delinquents, lazy, or at the very least just weird. Skaters in the 90s didn't really have many legal places to skate like we have now. So when they went into the streets, they faced a lot of resistance from pedestrians, business owners, and of course, cops.
So all we actually want is a place that's, places to skate. Because there are some, but the places that there is, they're far away from us, and there's hardly any.
This school is kind of in the middle of like South Central LA. A bunch of us are in there skating, and a cop comes in, all like shaking and flustered. The dude must have been 22 years old. The guy comes in just super hot, shaky, sweaty. He just looked so frantic. We chilled the dude out. Like all the other guys came in. They kind of roasted the dude because he was a rookie. They were poking fun of him. Because it was like older cops, and they're just like, oh, these guys are like harmless.
Every skater, both back then and today, has some kind of story like this. Some skate parks are even placed right next to police stations as a way to keep an eye on what skaters are doing at all times. So after looking at how the ad was made and how it spoke to skaters in a way the mainstream hadn't yet, this must have been a big success for Nike in their attempt to enter skating, right? Well, not immediately. Even with the unique team selection and a young Bam Margera appearing at the end of the commercials, at the time, skateboarding pushed back against anything that didn't originate from within the culture.
But I remember I did the Nike commercial and I had to kickflip from one bank to the other bank. And my shoes were a bit scuffed up and they wanted me to wear brand new ones as they scuffed them up with makeup.
Was that the, like, what
I
if we
was
treated athletes like skateboarders thing?
Yeah, when they were showing like golfers getting kicked out from police officers.
That was a really funny.
I like those
like commercial back then. Yeah.
You know, telling like my girlfriend's parents at the time that I rode for Nike was like an awesome thing, but if you tell another skateboarder that you ride for Nike, they'd be like, that's fucking whack.
Yeah.
Right.
While it would take some more time for Nike to fully catch on in the culture, the series of ads are still one of the only examples of a big company tactfully using skating in their advertising. Even after all this time, skating's sustained popularity is irresistible to brands who still don't understand it and see it as just another marketing gimmick.
But it is definitely more accepted. It's in advertising now as we speak, which I rarely watch commercials, but there was like 3 commercials in a row that had skating in it. They all went back to back to back.
Tony Hawk skated in the White House, and his first board is in the collection for the Smithsonian. Rodney Mullen is giving TED Talks. Nigel's bearing it all for GQ. However, even as things have changed so much over the last 2 decades since Nike's campaign launched, there is still something that rings true today. Street skateboarding is still illegal.
We're going to be getting kicked out of spots and weird run-ins and all that stuff. It's gonna, as long as we keep skating the things we're not supposed to. Skaters are always going to, for the most part, you're going to do that. I still do it.
Despite its current mainstream embrace leading to its representation in the largest sporting event in the world, skating is still generally prohibited in the streets. Even right outside the Olympic Stadium, where skateboarding made its debut in the event. The skaters that traveled to Japan to compete couldn't even skate to the stadium itself without the potential of getting harassed by police. And, weirdly enough, even for Olympic-level athletes, last year made the premise of these commercials a reality. In an eerie twist of fate that Nike originally presented as an unimaginable situation, the COVID-19 lockdowns resulted in not just skate parks being closed, but most public sporting facilities being shut down all across the country. Athletes of all kinds were, for the first time, actually shown what it's like to be treated like skateboarders. All we can say is, welcome to the club.